every day, all 7 days of the week. If it's just 5 days a week, that is essentially 14 hours every single day. Now, it sparked this furious conversation on social media. Some have said that, yes, that's a secret to success. You need to be willing to work hard. Many others have opined that there's a need for work-life balance, that life isn't defined by work, and it most definitely can't be that we put in 14, 15 hours a day, when according to them, all the benefits go directly to the top level and not to those who are putting in the hard work. We're going to be talking about both sides of this debate, but first listen in to what Mr. Narayana Murthy said.
Our youngsters must say, this is my country. I want to work 70 hours a week. You know, this is exactly what Germans and Japanese did after the Second World War.
Yes.
The German leader, he sat down with the German leaders, corporate leaders, and he said, we have to rebuild, and that's your job. And they made sure that every German worked extra hours for a certain number of years.
So that's the comment that was made by Mr. Narayana Murthy that sparked this debate as well. I'm joined here on 6 p.m. Prime by Mr. Mohandas Pai and also by Chetan Bhagat, two extremely successful people, and we're going to talk to them also about how they ensured their success. Was it by putting in 70 hours of hard work? Mr. Mohandas Pai, I'll begin with you. Thank you very much for joining us here on 6 p.m. Prime. This entire conversation that's gone viral is, of course, something that happened between you and Mr. Narayana Murthy. So tell us, first of all, sir, what do you have to say about this? Do you agree with what Mr. Murthy said?
Look, what did Narayana Murthy say? Narayana Murthy said youngsters should have the enthusiasm to stand up and say, I'm working to improve my country, I'm willing to work 70 hours, etc. Please read that, please listen to him very carefully. He did not say there should be a rule that everybody should work 70 hours. He did not say that, right? We have laws, we say 8 hours, 8.5 hours per day and all that, we have the laws. He said youngsters should volunteer because he said productivity in the country is poor. It is true. Our productivity is one of the lowest in the world. And all young people, and he spoke about youngsters. So leave out people about 30, they're not youngsters, all right? Now, if you're joining your first job, 21, 22, you have no skill, no capability, you have to learn on the job. So you have to work very hard, put in the effort to make yourself skillful, to improve your productivity wherever you work, to learn on the job. That requires hard work. And you must do it yourself to improve yourself. And by improving yourself, you'll increase productivity, and that will help the economy. And second, we are a very poor country. We all have to work hard. We can't goof up. We can't goof up. Everybody doesn't have a government job where people don't care about the work ethic. Barring 15-20% of the time of people in the government, the rest don't put in the kind of efforts required. Look at the holidays and everything. And we pay the taxes. We stuff up, we work our butts off. Look at any successful person in India or anywhere in the world. Look at the work ethic when they're young. So his advice is very sane. If people get upset, fine. He's not asking them to follow his advice. He's not asking them to do anything.
But Mr. Pai, okay, you're saying that, that's what defines success. But are you then suggesting, and Mr. Murthy, is he also suggesting that Gen Z is kind of lazy, has no work ethic, is not productive?
No, I'm not saying they have no work ethic, they're not productive. I'm not making the statement because I don't want to make any value judgment. But overall, Indian work productivity is poor across the board. Every global study will tell you the productivity is poor. That is a fact. It doesn't mean that everybody has low productivity. This is for an average or a group, right, across industries. That is what it is. You understand what I'm saying? It's not about individuals.
I also want to touch upon one point, Mr. Pai, which you made in your first answer, where you spoke about how Mr. Murthy isn't suggesting that you have to work a certain number of hours. Let's admit that he did do that. He did say that, 70 hours per week young professionals must put in. And the question is someone's contribution then defined by how many hours they put into work, not by the work they do, not by the quality?
Look. When you started off your workforce, how do you measure productivity? There are no means to measure productivity. When you start your work, then you tell me you're working in abstract or whichever media. When you started your work, how long did you work? Ask yourself.
No, I did.
Measure your work. And if you're being successful.
So I did. Yes, when I started out, I did put in the hard work. But I'll tell you, that came at a price. I had to sacrifice the fact that, you put your full focus only on professionalism, nothing else. There's no personal work.
Look, you can do what you want with your life. You can goof off for 10, 12 hours. You can do what you want. He's not telling you, dictating your life. He's advising you, take his advice or don't take his advice. It's your work. He's not making it a rule. He's not telling it, you must do it. He's advising them. It's up to you, take it or not. If you want to goof up, look, social media fire, please do it. It's your life. You decide what you want. He's giving you sick advice. All the successful people in the world, please look into the work ethic. They have worked their butts off. I work my butts off to succeed in my life. Okay?
Sure.
And I still do. I still do. And he also worked his butts off to do it. Everybody has done it. So that is a piece of advice. And please remember, we are a poor country. Look at our infrastructure projects. All of them are delayed. Why? The work productivity is very poor. Look at the roads. They're in a mess. Look at productivity elsewhere. I mean, we have to examine ourselves and understand that as a country, if we have to become rich, if you have to have good income for everybody, we have to work hard.
No,
One or two generations have to sacrifice.
But
Like
what's the-
Japanese did, the Chinese have done after they opened up, the Germans have done. Every successful economy has done that.
But
it
at
doesn't
what
mean
price,
that there
Mr.
should be a
Mohandas
rule.
Pai, at what price will that be? Because largely the debate on social media is this. They're saying, what about work-life balance? There are so many countries out there. You look at America, you look at parts of Europe who put so much focus on having an active work-life balance.
Look, Ma, you too should have some sense to ask the right question. What is America's per capita income? 335 million people. GDP is about 26 trillion.
Okay.
How much is that? That is about nearly $80,000. What is our per capita income? $2,500. How can you compare an America
Okay.
which is rich, which is using technology with India? Come on,
Okay,
give me
fair
a break.
point. I'll take that fair point, Mr. Pai. But having said that, you're saying we can't draw a parallel between other countries and India because we're not in the same position. Having said that, the other debate that comes up on social media is why, if I'm working in an MNC, should I put in so much hard work? It's not like I'll reap benefits. It goes to the top level. It goes to the top rung officials, to the executives. I don't benefit personally from putting in 20 hours in an MNC, which I don't own.
Look, those are all specious questions. At the early phase of your life, you learn. Okay, I've seen many people in social media said, I worked very hard when I joined companies. Now I'm reaping the benefits. I'm very productive. I've gone up the ladder. Okay, they also said that. Okay, I mean, the MSCs will benefit. This will benefit. Forget about it. They're not going to benefit. You are going to improve productivity. If the MNCs don't pay you well for all your hard work, leave and go elsewhere. Who's asking you to go stay in a company? You can walk across to another company, work very hard. Look, it is about individuals and individual productivity, because at the end of the day, there are only two things that make an economy successful: work productivity and capital productivity. And all countries who have become rich had work productivity and capital productivity, and they're succeeded. That's the point he's making. He's not telling everybody, go work 70 hours, go do this. He's saying youngsters must have the enthusiasm to say, this is my country. I will work very hard to build up the country. I will work 70 hours to build up. Who is going to benefit? That individual. That individual benefit because they get skills, they get productivity, they can do things faster, they will rise up the ladder faster. Because in every corporation, everywhere, if your productivity is very high, output is high, you get promoted. People want more and more good people. That's his advice.
My final question to you, Mr. Mohandas Pai, and this has been a very interesting conversation, is as someone who is extremely successful, you work very hard. So what's your advice to Gen Z, sir?
Look, my advice to everybody is, it is your life. You decide what you want to do. Okay? Nobody can compel you to do anything. If you want to spend 10 hours a day goofing off, watching social media, go ahead. If you want to go on to be on Twitter, go ahead. You decide what you want to live your life the way you want it. That's all. And if you want to build a strong career, you want to build this, work very hard, become productive, learn on the job in the first 8-10 years of your working life, because that is what is sustain you for the rest of your life. If you don't want to do that, you want to go to office that time and come back in time, fine, do that. It's okay. Do whatever you like best, which makes you happy. Narayana Murthy has given you advice because he's been successful. Many people have been successful. You want to take the advice, take it. Don't want to take it, don't take it. You do whatever you want. Nobody's compelling you to do anything. I worked hard. I worked my butts off. I traveled on Saturdays, Sundays, and I've been very successful. I'm very happy that I worked hard. I've been successful. And I know all people who have been successful, 95%, except those people who inherited property or wealth, they all came up to their own hard efforts. Look at my chief minister in Siddaramaiah in Karnataka. I mean, he works 12, 14 hours a day, every single day, whether he's in power or otherwise. What makes him successful? Look at Prime Minister Modi. Look at his work ethic. He's 73. This is what builds countries.
I
This is
agree.
what makes societies much better. Take the
Okay.
same advice. Don't want to follow it, don't follow it. It's perfectly fine.
Your comment, Mr. Pai, is going to start a big discussion on social media. There's no doubt about that.
Look, I
And
don't care. I don't care. They can write what they want. They're all malcontents. I don't care. What do I care? Look, if they succeed in their life, fine. Don't succeed. I don't care. It's their life, right? It's up to them to decide. Why should I bother about others? This is what I feel. I will express my view. You like it, take it. Don't like it, don't take
okay.
it. Doesn't matter both ways. Okay?
Fair enough. Mr. Mohandas Pai, thank you. Thank you for sharing your candid views on this topic. And of course, we'll track the social media chatter around that. But thank you, Mr. Mohandas Pai. Let me take this across to Chetan Bhagat, author, again, someone extremely successful. Chetan, in fact, joined us about 15 minutes ago. He's right now on a flight. He's joined us from the Jaipur airport. You're busy, clearly hustling, Chetan. But tell us, what do you have to say about Mr. Murthy's comment? I saw your tweet where you said that, if you work for 35 hours, that's fine. Make it count. So then are you suggesting that, it doesn't matter how many hours you put in? At the end of the day, the comment that comes in from the likes of Mr. Mohandas Pai is that what defines success is hard work. You're working hard.
I think hard work is definitely important, Akshata, but to equate hard work in terms of hours, firstly, maybe not the perfect way to do it, you know. So it doesn't mean that the more hours is directly related to. So in the first tweet that you mentioned, when I said that you can work 35 hours too, but if you do it with full focus and you are actually making every minute count, you can achieve a lot in 7 hours a day, 5 days a week. I mean, that's a lot of time. But what I found, at least I've worked in offices, I've worked in banking for more than a decade. A lot of people spend a lot of time, but they're just chilling or they're just
Sure.
waiting for some, printout or they're just doing some meetings. Is meetings work? I don't think so. Most meetings are useless in companies. So I think a lot of time is spent, and then someone can say, "I'm working damn hard. Why am I not seeing progress?" So I just wanted to emphasize to people that make the hours count,
Okay.
and then it can be less than 70 also.
The counter to what you have said, Chetan, is how do you then define hard work, especially for a fresher in the industry, someone who wants to prove himself or herself? How else can they do it but by putting in the hours, by proving that they're sincere, they're determined, and are willing to work hard, put in the hours?
Well, Akshata, I love Mohandas Pai and I love Narayan Murthy sir also. And who I love more than Narayan Murthy sir? Sudha Murthy ma'am, because she's a writer and she has interviewed me, and I know and they know that how much I respect them, and they are one of the finest human beings out there. The problem is, and I'm sure they didn't mean it this way, but when somebody who is a very wealthy entrepreneur, or like basically what you will call a capitalist, says this, that I expect employees to work so much, it's different from you saying it, Akshita, who is working
Sure.
in a job in India Today TV. You say it's your view, and you can give 70 hours, you can say 30 hours, you can say 90 hours. It's different. It's just Akshita's view. But when they say it, it's different because they are basically saying this is what we expect our employees to do, and therefore we are the company owners of India, and we expect employees to do this, and therefore all the other company owners of India, that's the minimum standard. And then it could come across as like, okay, they are the ones getting all the equity gains. If people work harder, they're just like labor, and they just want people to get more and more value out of
Yeah.
them by making them work longer. So I think it's the messenger here, with all respect to them. But on this topic, I think what's the profile is of the messenger matters.
But then, do you think that this is just essentially a generational difference? You've spoken, interact often with Mr. Murthy, with Sudha ma'am, with Mr. Mohandas Pai. That's a generation that put in all of that hard work. They believed in nothing but work, sacrificing whatever it took for ensuring that they were successful at the workplace. You interact with a lot of Gen Z as well. Do you think that the attitude then has changed, and that's why there's such a big debate over this, that the Gen Z perhaps doesn't focus as much on work, they believe in that active work-life balance?
Yeah. Okay. So firstly, Gen Z, and I'm not Gen Z. And actually, I have two boys who are Gen Z.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you very frankly, yes, this tendency exists that work-life balance. So firstly, the Gen Z people should know that the fact that they have a life today, that they can talk about work-life balance, it's because the generations before them worked so hard to give them a life of privilege that today they have that privilege. Yeah, I should have work-life balance. Because you know what? You don't have to worry about where the food is going to come from anymore. But there was a time when your parents were growing up, your grandparents were growing up, that you have to work hard just to put food on the table. So I think it's a different India now. It's a different generation that talks like this. So I understand that. So you don't need to bring down the older generation. Same way, we don't need to bring down the younger generation by saying calling them lazy. I don't think it's lazy, but I do think Narayan Murthy sir has some point. Obviously, granularity is lost in a statement like work 70 hours a week. And like I said, since he's seen as the big company owner, capitalist, entrepreneur, it's going to be taken differently when he says it. But it is, you should, in your formative years, work hard. I do believe.
Yeah.
I would say work 100 hours a week if you want. But it should not be at your office, at your job. Work on yourself, which means your health, your friends, your sleep. To me, it's hard work for me to get my sleep right. But get 8 hours of sleep is difficult. I have to plan my day, I have to sleep early, give up parties sometimes, whatever it is. So that's also part of it. So work on your whole entire being, entire life, and have a strategic plan. If you think that I'm just going to be an employee in one office and I'll work and stay at work longer than other people and I'll have a great career, that's not going to happen. So I do believe in working hard. And if you think that you're going to just do a job which is work-life balance, then I think what could happen is boredom. You get very bored in a job that doesn't have
Yeah.
challenge. You get very bored if you work very little. And I think there are many reasons why young generation says work-life balance. I think some of it is they are very keen to avoid anxiety. If you honestly ask me, that oh my god, I don't want to work hard. It makes me feel anxious. It makes me feel so. I
Correct.
I don't think that approach is also right. I am with Narayan Murthy sir on that. That you need to work hard, but not just in office. In your whole life, life is hard, man. If you think there is a life on easy mode, which is a happy life,
No, you're right.
you're mistaken.
You're right in saying that. But Chetan, my final question to you, and we asked this to Mr. Pai as well. As a successful person, what kind of work did you put in as someone when you were young or now? Do you put in 70 hours of work or more?
So there is a Chetan Bhagat who was 20, now I'm 49. It's different. I have to tell myself that I can now start thinking about work-life balance. I think I'm entitled to think about it. And I still get into the workaholic
Yeah.
mode sometimes. I'm right now, I did a motivational talk in Jaipur. I'm speaking to you from Jaipur airport. I was in Dubai for something else. I came on the red eye on the night flight, which landed at 5 a.m. I went to the hotel. I went to the gym first. I worked out. Then I gave my talk, and I'm back because I'll take the flight back to Dubai because it's my wife's 50th
That's
birthday there.
insane.
So I have to be there. So I'm still working, but at the same time, I also tell myself to take breaks, and I can do that. But in my early years, I would say I would work pretty hard. 8 to 10 hours a day is pretty hard. That's a lot of work,
It is.
8 to 10 hours a day consistently. Problem is people work one day very hard and then they don't. Or so I don't think you need 70. I mean, but that's just a discussion. I think 50 is also okay. But
Sure.
like really like do the work at the time of work. Don't check Instagram or LinkedIn or whatever time pass you're
Okay.
doing.
Full commitment. How many hours you put in? Interesting view that Chetan. Just wanted to make one comment, which is that in the conversation and what you just said, it sounds like a lot of work. It doesn't sound really like any
One
sort of
last point,
work-life balance. Yeah.
it depends on how your mind and you actually approach that work. And that's why all this talk of passion and three idiots and all those things about like follow your passion. Because if it is your passion, it doesn't seem like work. You have to pull people out of work. Yeah, people have to like yank me out of work. I have to tell myself, stop working because I love it so much.
Yeah.
That is an amazing state to be, right? Isn't that a great work life balance where your work is more fun than
Sure.
even your life? If it actually is fun, think about it. If the moment you say work life balance, you're saying work is something to be avoided. But what if work gives you as much joy or even more joy than life? Then what? And that's the thing. And I've been on both sides. I've been in a bank where my work was not that, and now my work, yeah, I like motivating people. I like writing books, and but at the same time, I understand. I have a body. I have to sleep. I have to rest. I need friends. I have family. I have to be there for them. So that's all there. But I don't know. It's all just life.
No,
What
but
is work and what is life? Is work not life? And is life
I
not
think
work?
you're right in saying that if you enjoy your work, it's no longer a debate about how many hours you have to put in. But Chetan, I can see that you're busy, you're hustling, so you're still hard at work. Chetan Bhagat joining us from the Jaipur airport just moments before his flight takes off. But thank you, Chetan, for taking the time out and joining us on this very, very important debate. It's divided, as you can see there. You have Mr. Mohandas Pai saying that, look, you have to put in the hard work to be recognized. Chetan Bhagat saying it's not about the number of hours, it should be about the quality of work. What does Gen Z think? What do young professionals, students, all of them have to say about the 70-hour work week? Let me play out for you some reactions.
No, honestly, no, I wouldn't. It's like too stressful.
He's saying that's the way to build a nation.
No, but then we don't need so many hours. It become too stressful and it's not healthy.
Smart work is preferred now rather than hard work, so I don't think those many hours of work it's like necessary.
For working 70 hours is so long, and people have many priorities in their life. They need to also work for their family. They need to also look forward. If they are one man or one woman in their family, who will take care of the children, who will take care of their family? They need to, everyone need to work, and they need to less the time.
If you are thinking about short term, for example, if you are going to work a week 70 hours, then for 1-2 years it is okay. But if you are going to work for around 10 to 12 years, 70 hours a week will put too much stress on an employee.
I also think that 70 hours are way too long, because when we when we know about abroad countries, they have a good long weekend. They get maximum time to rest, because rest is very, very much important for today's youth.
For a long term, people might find good opportunities other than working for 70 hours, because we have a good scope nowadays. There's a lot of competition in different sectors also. But if it's for starting, it might boost and help the more new employees to come out very well, because they'll get to used to be the routine work and all. They can work more efficiently and all. So for the starting, it's okay. It would help the newcomers to learn more things and come out good.
So we'll leave it to you, the viewer, to decide whether a 70-hour work week is doable and whether it's needed for someone to prove themselves, particularly when they're young and they can put in that much energy into work. That's all we have time for in this edition of 6 p.m. Prime. Thanks very much for tuning in. Speaking of a 70-hour work week, hope you have a good weekend ahead.
You are watching India Today, powered by Finest, Be Sustainable Change, a BNP Group company.
Get ready for an immersive journey into the heart of news, politics and insights that matter. Join India Today now on WhatsApp with the #1 election team as we gear up for the upcoming assembly elections. Scan the QR code now.
Join India Today now on WhatsApp. Follow these steps. Open WhatsApp on your phone. Check for a new updates tab. Select Find Channel and type India Today. After finding the channel, tap the Follow button.
सोनीपत जिले में गन्नौर ब्लॉक में गांव गुमड़ में सचिन किसान के द्वारा बेलर के माध्यम से XU2 के तहत 600-650 एकड़ में बेल बनाई जा चुकी हैं और इससे फसल अवशेष का प्रबंधन बड़े अच्छे तरीके से किया जा रहा है। किसानों की जो आग जलाने की जो एक समस्या थी उसका समाधान किया जा रहा है और स्टॉप बेलर जो है हमने सोनीपत जिले में 50% व्यक्तिगत किसानों को सब्सिडी उपलब्ध करवाई है और CHC के तहत 80% तक जो है सब्सिडी हमने उपलब्ध करवाई।
हमारा जो जिम्मेदार थे सब धान कटाई के बाद इसमें बहुत ज़्यादा परेशानी थी खेत जुताई करने में, और इसमें बाई में बहुत ज़्यादा समय लगता था और काफ़ी ज़मींदार इसको आग लगा देते थे। इसके कारण प्रदूषण बहुत ज़्यादा फैलता था और सरकार इसमें जुर्माना लगा रही थी। फिर एक दोस्त ने करनाल देखा हमने, वहाँ उन्हें बेलिंग मशीन ली हुई थी और इसकी गांठ बांध रहे थे और खेत अच्छे साफ हो जाता था और उनका भी काम अच्छा चल रहा था गांठ से। फिर वहाँ से देख के हमने भी नई एक बेलिंग मशीन ली पिछले साल।
You are watching India Today, powered by Finest, Be Sustainable Change, a B&P Group company.
We won't have any of it. That is the word from the Government of India on allegations of Meta and Instagram tweaking content to make their platforms addictive. India has said that free pass and immunity to social media platforms are over and strict accountability will be enforced.
Social media app can be used maturely or mindfully only after understanding these consequences. That means that there has to be a capping of age. Young children are more impressionable, and when they are looking at content repeatedly, it forms their opinions, it forms their ideologies, it forms their personality, and they get less and less choice in forming an ideology, because that is the only ideology that they are being exposed to.
This comes in the backdrop of a lawsuit against Meta, which also operates Facebook, by more than 40 US states, saying that Facebook, Instagram features are addictive and target kids. The complaint says Meta has repeatedly misled the public about the substantial dangers of its platforms and knowingly induced young children and teenagers into addictive and compulsive social media use. Research has shown that young people